So let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, namaskar, and a very warm welcome to all our esteemed guests and participants from both India and US who have gathered here today for this webinar. My name is Naveen Pathak and I lead Entry USA, a New Jersey-based company with a clear mission to make it easy for Indian companies to establish and expand your business here in the United States. In collaboration with the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey, and the Federation of Indian Export Organizations, FIO, we have organized this webinar with the lineup of experts we have today. I promise you that you all will hear very deep insights and opportunities. Our webinar titled Briefing for Indian Companies US Business Expansion represents a very collaborative effort to support Indian food exporters like yourself in your journey to win the US market. Our sincere thanks to our esteemed partners, US Food and Drug Administration, US FDA, US Customs and Border Protection, and the Indian Consulate in New York for their support and endorsement of this initiative. As we proceed, kindly request all the participants to keep your microphone muted throughout the webinar. Please use the chat feature to ask questions. Our speakers will address these questions after their presentations are made. Thank you for joining us. And without further ado, let's begin this webinar. Before we dive into the heart of this presentation today, it's my honor to introduce a key figure who will deliver the opening remarks. Mr. Manish Kulhari, Consul Trade and Commerce at the Consulate General of India in New York, brings with him a wealth of experience and commitment to fostering trade and relations between India and the United States. His extensive experience in taxation, audit, law enforcement, and administration positions him as a true advocate of Indian business. Welcome, Shri Manish Kulhari, sir. The floor is yours, and let's begin.
Thank you, Mr. Naveen Pathak. Good morning to our US partners and friends, and good evening to our Indian partners and friends. And first of all, I would like to thanks to Entry India, especially Mr. Naveen Pathak, to organize this meaningful session, and other partners also, and bringing other partners. Thanks to the Port of New York and New Jersey, thanks to US CBP, US FDA, and our Indian partners from FIO and IACC. Friends, let me tell you that this Indo-US trade, it is growing every year, and it is our pleasure to say that US is our India's biggest partner, trading partner. And let me also tell you that this partnership is growing more and more every year, and it will grow because the level of the partnership with our leaders here in USA and India, that has grown to a very great stature. And this partnership is not limited to one sector or two sector, but it is across all the sectors, whether it is technology, whether it is defense, whether it is semiconductors, whether it is space. But what I have observed is India is a great service exporter. We need to do more in terms of trade in goods or export of goods. And that is why these sessions are very important here. And you would glad to know that many US companies are entering India and many Indian companies are entering US. For example, if I say that now Apple is manufacturing its phone in India, Microsoft is going there and starting facility in India, and that's how the service sector or the manufacturing sector, there is a partnership between US and India. But there is a lot of scope in trade of goods, especially the food exports. And what I've observed is that India is having quality products in the food industry. The only thing needed is that you have to comply the legal procedures of USA. You have to comply with the safety issues here, and that is why the role of US CBP and US FDA comes into the picture. And I have seen that once you are your product is good, once you have got the entry here, there is nothing like that, because the value addition which US market brings to any product, that is huge, and there is a scope for Indian exporters there. I was just analyzing one report, and then I was surprised that the coffee exports from India that has grown almost double from 2020 to 2023. It was 30 million in 2019-20, but it is more than 60 million in 22-23. But let me also tell you that it is not even 1% of what US is importing. So there is a lot of scope. Yes, we are doing good, but we need to do more. And a lot of products need the FDA approvals, and that is why we need to know what are those procedures, how the import can take place, and that is where all these partners comes into the picture. So I think that this session is very important. I once again thanks Entry India so to bring so many partners so that it will give meaningful information to all the listeners and all the audience here who are the real businessmen and who are looking for these kind of sessions. Thank you very much. Let's learn something from this session. Floor is to you, Mr. Naveen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your insightful opening remarks, which have set the stage for our webinar today. So moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our next esteemed speaker, Dr. Ajay Sahai, for his special address for us in this webinar. Dr. Sahai serves as the Director General and CEO of Federation of Indian Export Organizations, established in 1965 by the Ministry of Commerce, the Government of India, and the private trade and industry sector. Under his leadership, FIO's membership has expanded from 7,200 to 35,000 during his 16-year tenure. I mean, that's a very large number. So you can see that Dr. Sahai's expertise in promoting India's exports and his contributions to the industry are truly commendable. Dr. Ajay Sahai, we welcome you and invite you to share your valuable insight with us. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let me first thank the organizer for giving me this opportunity. Let me also thank all the panel and the distinguished speaker who will be joining us during the deliberation. A very good morning to all those who are joining from the US and good evening to those who are joining from India. We all know that India and US are the two most vibrant democracies, having a strategic partnership and a common shared vision. US, as told by the Consul General, is already the largest trading partner for the last 2 years. And the trend is likely to continue as our bilateral trade is growing by leaps and bounds. And though there is global headwinds, but we are fortunate that our trades are growing. So far as India's export to US is concerned, in fact, in last 2 years, we have seen huge growth in export. It moved from around $52 billion to $74 billion in financial year 2022 to $78.5 billion in financial year 23. In fact, India's agriculture exports also are doing pretty well. We moved from around $40 billion in financial year 21 to over $52.5 billion in last financial year. Though agriculture exports as a percentage of India's export is around 12%, but when we are seeing the figure in respect to the US, it is around 6%. And that shows that we have a lot of work to do in US. Secondly, when I'm looking into the profile of export is dominated by marine products. Today, marine products, they are contributing to roughly 50% of India's overall agriculture and processed food export to the US. There are other products also like spices, dairy products, basmati rice, which we are exporting to the US besides fruits and vegetables. So far as US imports are concerned, we have seen a good growth in imports, particularly in imports of the nuts, which is one of the dominant products which we are importing from the US. And presently, the import is around $2.5 billion, but we are expecting it to grow because recently only India has allowed import of pork, and we are also looking into the cherries imports in a big way. Apart from the main import item, which are nuts, US is also supplying cotton, soybean oil, ethanol, and forest-based products to India. India has removed retaliatory tariff also on some of the agriculture products, including blueberries and cranberries, beside turkey and duck. And I'm pretty sure this will help US exporter to take the full advantage of the situation. The technical barriers which are coming in the way are being discussed at the Trade Policy Forum, and the next meeting of Trade Policy Forum is due next year. So whatever little irritants are there, I'm pretty sure the two sides will work together to sort it out. India is also moving towards a value-added and processed food sector's exports in a big way. Currently, they account for roughly a quarter of my total exports. But the focus has come on exports of these products. We have rolled out a new agri-export policy also. We are looking into taking India's agri-exports alone to $100 billion in the process, doubling the farm's income also. Couple of other initiatives have also been taken in the food sector. You all know that government has come with a Muga Food Park scheme where they are providing state-of-the-art facility in agro and horticulture areas to build the world-class processing facility. There are around 41 mega parks which have been approved, 24 have become operational also, and government is providing 50% of the project cost, subject to selling of 750 million for each park. So there's an opportunity for US investor also to come to India, look into providing the entire chain in the processing in the mega park. You also know that the government has also rolled out the production link incentive in the food processing sector, particularly for ready-to-eat food also, and the millet-based product, fruits and vegetable. And there are opportunities which are available for exporters to come and join in these sectors also. We have also looked into that there are issues which have come in the process of export to the US, and we are very happy that US FDA has carved out an MOU with the Export Inspection Council of India, where they are looking for effective collaboration, communication, and information exchange in the promotion of food safety and food defense to facilitate trade. US's FDA is sharing the information on product refusal, recall, emergency notification procedure, and I'm pretty sure that is going to help the export to a large extent. Let me also highlight some of the concern which needs to be taken care by the Indian side. If you look into the data from US FDA, it is showing that in last 4 years, around 3,925 shipments have been refused because of the certain issues which have been raised. And this number is quite alarming. Though the good news is the number is coming down year after year. Secondly, what is shocking is that 24% of these refusals were only on the ground of filthy consignment. I am sure that this needs to be taken care. And roughly 20% were rejected because of it containing salmonella, and that shows that we have to look into quality and safety parameter little clearly. Most of the frequent rejection has come partly in case of the spices, vitamins, bakery products, and seafood products, and therefore exporter of these products has to take a little more careful approach. In fact, the rejection for the Indian consignment is pretty high when we are comparing to other, including China and Mexico. The rejection rate for Indian consignment is 0.15%, where for China, it is 0.022%. That means 1/7 of India's refusal. And for Mexico, it is 0.25%, which is 1.6% of India's cases. So I think these are the figures which we have to look into. There is a very high percentage which is being rejected on Pentagon-related violation also, which needs to be looked into. However, good thing is that in India, we have a complete track and traceability now operational. So whenever any such case is detected, it is easily identifiable, and we can look into redressal of those issues very clearly. So while we look for increasing our exports to US and particularly of food and processed food sector, I think we need to address these concerns, both from the perspective of the importers of the US as well as from the US FDA. As for the food product, there is absolutely zero tolerance. So I will urge my exporters to be benefited by the presence of the reputed speaker, particularly from US FDA and US Custom. And I'm pretty sure this seminar will definitely enrich them, help them to identify the challenges in the US market, address them, and exploit the market potential which exists. So with these words, I thank all of you once again. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much for this excellent insights. The stats that you shared, I mean, it gives a very good picture that is for the Indian companies if they look at it to expand their business in the US market. And I'm very sure they're the experts from US FDA and U.S. Customs today and the Port Authority will look, would have captured the information you shared and accordingly will deliver upon the presentations today. Thank you so much. I know that you have to leave early today for your address at Amazon US. So I wish you had stayed longer, but if you do, that'll be wonderful. But nevertheless, I'll get in touch with you later with the proceedings of this webinar, sir. Thank you once again, sir. Thank you a lot. Okay, so now everyone, we are going to get into the core of the topics around which today's webinar is structured. A quick note for everyone, for any questions you might have for the experts that you will hear soon, please write in the chat and we will address them at the end of the presentation. So to get started, the first panel expert I invite here is my co-host, Nicole Polidoro herself. Nicole serves as the Northeast Regional Account Manager at the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey. A very warm welcome to you, Nicole. The mic is yours, and I will be making sharing the presentation you have shared with me already. So just give me 1 second, and I'll bring it online for everyone.
Thank you, Naveed. And it's been great working with you over the last couple of years to really merge these two important areas of transportation and the industry need that's happening here. So I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that's joined. Good evening for us here. Good morning. Again, my name is Nicole Polidoro, and I work with the Port Authority on the port side. And what I'm going to do is, because I'm really not the main event here, we really want to hear from FDA and CBP. I'm just going to give you kind of what the role of the Port Authority is and how I fit into it and how I work along with the CBP and FDA folks. Can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So just if everyone could keep themselves muted, that would be really appreciative. Thank you. So the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, it was created through the Act of Congress in 1921, the first bi-state agency. There's 12 board members appointed by both governors. So Governor of New York and New Jersey, they have 6 each under them to make decisions on where we will go in growth and infrastructure. We're a financially self-supporting entity. We do not take any money from any taxpayers here. We get it generated from tolls and wharfage and things like that. We operate and maintain many of the most important transportation and trade infrastructure assets. That's really what our job is, to be a people or cargo mover. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. So under the Port District, what falls under the Port Authority as far as the full Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, it's about a 25-mile radius of the Statue of Liberty. So we're responsible as an agency for all the airports in the local area, the bridges and tunnels, which is very easy. Any bridge that crosses between New York and New Jersey is under our jurisdiction. Bus and rail transit, we own the PATH system if you've ever been out here. Real estate, we own the World Trade Site, and seaports, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So if you can go to the next slide, I'll dig into what our ports are and what they look like. So as many of you know, we are a landlord port model. So I'm really the landlord of all of our tenants here, but we don't look at it that way. We work with them because we want to have growth in this economy and growth into this gateway. We're the largest port on the East Coast, and we're second largest in the nation in 22. We teeter back with LA and Long Beach. We have 3,000 acres of waterfront property, which is all of our marine terminals sit on. So in Newark, we have Port Newark Container Terminal. Coming down Elizabeth on the north end is Mar Terminal. Right below it is APM. In Bayonne, we had just got new owners. CMA had just purchased 2 of our terminals. So now they're Port Liberty Bayonne and Port Liberty New York, which is in Staten Island. And Red Hook in Brooklyn handles a lot of our bulk and beverages that come into our gateway. We have a multiple port purpose. We have not only containers, we move a lot of autos and cruise and bulk, liquid bulk, dry bulk. And every terminal has an on-dock or near-dock intermodal rail network. And I think that's important because a lot of times you may have a local consumer here, but their final destination might be in the middle of, say, Chicago and Indianapolis, where there's no terminals there per se. So that's what we fight for, that discretionary cargo, to get that cargo to move into the inland ports. You can go to the next page, please. So what makes us number one and such a good asset to this industry? We have the greatest access to consumers. So within an hour, and these are just truck figures, so there's not even a rail. In an hour, we can reach 13.3 million consumers. 2 hours, 27.7 and forward. But as you can see, the other ports that, are right below us, Port of Virginia, maybe can hit half of that in an hour. And so it really is our importance of our access to the consumer needs. We're a very affluent area where there's a lot of people, a lot of needs, and we want to be able to accommodate all the cargo that comes in and out of this gateway. We just did get our October numbers. So just in October, we did 742,571 TEUs. So remember, we have to gauge on COVID. During COVID and the pandemic, there were so many surge of cargo. So we really look and say, are we where we were pre-pandemic? And we are. We're right around what we were before the pandemic, and that's where we want to be. And what we want to do is always be able to grow infrastructurally, making sure that our roadways are good and truckers don't have to wait too long to get in and out of the gateway. And that's really where my job, I'm a resource. If a customer called me and said, hey, my trucker's waiting to get into MAR, can you help me? And I try to help them to get to the right people. You can go to the next slide. And again, this is just what our growing market is. And if Navita just hit that play, there's no sound on it. But what it shows is our outreach on all of the different railheads we can get to. And it's important, right? Because if we are the number one port on this coast, we're getting many, many vessel calls here. And if you have something where you're coming in and it needs to go to Chicago, you know that we could be a resource for you as well. We can get you out to Chicago within a couple of days as the vessel's coming here. So we did a $600 million rail program. We have 4 on-dock express rail facilities serving all the terminals. We work with Class 1 railroad, CSX, Conrail is the exchanger, 1.5 million annual lift capacity with over 50 destinations, and a southbound connector project that will increase capacity and network efficiency as we want to have the best way your cargo moves out of this gateway. You can go to the next slide. I think that's all I have though. Let me see. Okay, this is one I did put together because I knew it was important, speaking to a lot of great importers on my side of Indian cargo. So what I did was I took the 5 top trading partners in the market, and China's still a very strong player in here, and that may change as years go on and people leave China. But right behind it is 16% is coming from India. So we do appreciate the support coming in there and supporting this gateway and us being able to assist you. As far as the food, I picked just the top 5 main foods that I could see. Again, this data is not as clear as it can be, but what we can pull out of the cereal being the largest importer coming here out of India. And then the other commodities, as you could see, fall under that. So I think it was important to show that it is a great amount of cargo that comes in here based out of India, and we appreciate it. And any way we can help, that's what we're here for. And we did line up some great speakers to really help you navigate moving your cargo through CBP and FDA, and having any questions that you may have, we'll be able to help you. Like Naveed said at the end of the presentation, I'll go through the chat and help you as much as I can. You can go to the next slide. And that's all I have. I'll put my information in the chat, so if anyone wants to reach out to me, please feel free. But I will turn it back over to Naveed. Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful, Nicole. Thank you so much for a very informative presentation. I just want to add to everyone that you see, Port Authority of New York, New Jersey is probably 5 minutes drive from the Newark Airport. Newark Airport has direct flights to India, to Delhi and Mumbai. And it is no more than 20-25 minutes from Jersey City. That is another mini India out of India. And it is no more than 35 minutes from Islin Indian Market, Oak Tree Road. You might all have heard of it. If you have not heard of it, then you have to hear about it. It's called Oak Tree Road Indian Market. So the other part which you have to figure out from here, which you should be able to, is that more than 500,000 NRIs, the non-Indian residents who live on the east coast of or the northeast coast of US. So they live roundabout here. So the market is huge. So you name SLT Foods, Best Foods, the largest imported distributors, and you, as I said, 500,000 NRIs living here. Apna Bazaar, Patel Brothers, and many other food stores, food retail stores. they are all around within 35 minutes from the port. So this port will serve you the best. And of course, with the accessibility to the Dewan Road in Chicago, now you could see from the map that you have access to the state of Illinois and city of Chicago, which is highly populated by Indians. And I'm very sure when you look into getting into the US market, this information which Nicole shared will be very helpful to strategize your entry into the US. Now, next to this is I'm going to introduce our next speaker. So the next panel expert is Lori Kuo. Lori serves as Chief Agriculture Specialist at the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. She oversees the agriculture cargo operations for the port, including its maritime, compliance, and express and USPS mail operations. Lori, a very warm welcome to you in this webinar. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully everybody can hear me. If you can't, just let me know. So what I have to say is pretty simple. In order to kind of help all of you facilitate your cargo through our port, like I was introduced, my name is Lori Kuo. I'm the Chief Agriculture Specialist here for the Port of New York, Newark, with U.S. Customs and Border Protection. So the map that was shown for the area under Port Authority is pretty simple. That's what we cover. Here at the Port of New York, Newark, we cover all of the maritime cargo operations. Our sister port is, of course, JFK. JFK really is, of course, an airport, and they have air cargo. But when you're looking to bring in sea cargo, that goes through me and the Port of New York, Newark. So we cover all of the New York and New Jersey maritime terminals. Basically, CBP, if you're not familiar, we are the border agency for the United States. We're here to safeguard our borders, both through people and cargo. We are in all the cargo environments across the country: maritime, air cargo, express mail, U.S. postal mail, rail, land border. All of our employees work in all of those areas, kind of monitoring all kinds of cargo and trade that comes in and out of the country. We not only have our own agency kind of trade rules that we are here to enforce, but we also enforce all of the rules for other agencies like FDA, USDA, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, EPA. Anything that you are looking to bring into the United States will go through CBP in terms of cargo. Our employees are well-versed in all trade entry rules, regulations, and we work with all of our partners, agency partners, in making sure all of their requirements are met for you to bring your cargo in. So for agriculture, for CBP agriculture specifically, if you're not familiar with the history, we enforce USDA's rules and regulations governing the importation of fresh fruits, vegetables, animal products, and a whole host of miscellaneous products, both food products, but also plants for planting. So for us, we do the exams, we review your entries, but in terms of the actual regulation, in terms of what you need for paperwork for your entry, those are the USDA rules. And so we work with USDA in making sure that if you're bringing, whatever you're bringing in meets their requirements. The best way to explain that is, for example, if you're bringing in rice, which is a very popular commodity that we see a lot here at our port, rice has very specific rules. It will differ depending on if you're importing it, the country of origin is India versus if it's China or Thailand. Those rules governing the paperwork that you will need to bring with your rice is solely on USDA. So we can't kind of control, we can't control the paperwork, we can't control what you are required to have. We hold your cargo, we examine your cargo, we review your cargo. We may examine your cargo physically, so to ensure that no pest or disease enters our country. but we may also hold your cargo solely on documents and make sure that you have your correct paperwork that goes with your entry. Our ag specialists here at the Port of New York, Newark are very well versed and very familiar with all of the different food products, fresh fruits, animal products, dry goods, miscellaneous products that you might be looking to import. We already do a lot. Pretty much anything you're looking to import, we have seen, we're familiar with, we know the rules, we know what's required. The best advice I really can give you in terms of helping facilitate your cargo, and especially having all the paperwork in order, is to hire a broker that knows the port, that's familiar with how the port operates, and knows the USDA's rules and regulations for your cargo. The most important thing you can do is know exactly what it is you're bringing and that you're looking to bring. If you have all your invoice in order and you know all the products you're looking to bring in a shipment, each of those products, you know what the USDA rules are, FDA's rules are, and all your paperwork is in order, that's actually the best way to make sure that there's no delays, there's no additional charges. The times that we see issues with cargo or that cargo gets held up is either two things. One, we find a pest or disease, and of course, that will go through that process, and either, depending on what it is, the cargo gets destroyed, or sometimes you have the option to re-export. And the second is if there's a hiccup with your paperwork. If, like, for example, India is a capra beetle country, USDA has very specific rules on certain types of products and the paperwork that is required in order to bring that commodity into the United States. That's what our agriculture specialists look for, is certain statements, since India is a capra beetle country. And sometimes if the statements are not exactly as per the rules, that's where you might get delayed here. So those are the two most common sort of delays that you might see with your shipments, at least with CBP. And then other than that, it's just to make sure that you know how, or your broker specifically, knows how the port operates. You know, we work in conjunction with Port Authority, of course, like Nicole had mentioned. CBP currently at the port has 2 CES exam warehouses on the New Jersey side. We have one in Staten Island, and we work out of Red Hook as well. So there are multiple different avenues, multiple different terminals, many different CSs that you have the option of. All the carriers come through here. The more familiar you are with how the port operates and what USDA's rules are for your products, the easier it is for you and your shipment. That's all I have.
Wow, that was very informative, very in-depth, Lori. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure the information you shared is going to help many of the Indian exporters looking at the US market to prepare themselves accordingly. And everyone, please make sure that you write your questions in the chat. And at the end of the webinar, we'll go over these questions and try to address them as many as possible. We'll try to do that. So thank you, Lori. Next in line for us, everyone in the panel expert, is I'm going to invite Melka Argo. Melka serves as an import specialist at the US Food and Drug Administration, FDA. Melka's core work involves identifying and stopping hazardous imports and safeguarding American consumers. Also, to share with you all for this presentation, and because of the importance of it, Melka is supported by 2 of his colleagues from FDA, Theresa Smedley and Ryan Aguilon. Theresa serves as Director Investigations Branch at FDA, and Ryan serves as Supervisory Consumer Safety Officer at FDA. With that said, I welcome Melka, Theresa, and Ryan to take the charge. I'll do the screen share.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're located. Here is 9:06 in New Jersey. It's early in the morning. I don't see the part of it. Quite unexpected. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Do you see the slide presentation?
Yes, we.
No, it says Zoom quit and next.
Argo, Nicole, can you see the?
I can see it, yes.
Mm,
Did we lose them?
hold on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yep. Can you see
Okay,
it,
I
Malcolm?
yeah, I can see it
Okay,
now.
great.
I just got reconnected.
No worries. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for having us here. I'm Commander Argao. I'm Consumer Safety Officer, Import Specialist with FDA. Today, I'm representing FDA and to share, the time is not enough really to share all the informations, but we will try our best to provide few information that's really important to import products from India. Next slide, please. So what do you need to consider before you import human food? What's the definition of human food? Human food is defined as article for eating or drinking, including for research use and personal use, for product specific or regulatory regulation. For more detail, we have links. This presentation will be shared after the webinar, and we have lots of links and information that you guys can follow up this presentation. Food imported to United States must meet the same law as regulation, the food produced in United States. This is very critical for food importers. Product must be safe and contain no prohibited ingredients, and all labeling and packaging must meet and must be informative and truthful. It is the importer responsibility. This is the key. It is the importer responsibility to ensure that the imported food is in compliance and follows conditions of their customs bond. Please visit this How to Start a Food Business page. It has more of explanation on the requirements. Next slide, please. Before you importing more information, you need to be consider food facility registration. Foreign facilities that engaged in manufacturing, processing, packaging, or handling food products, they all are required to register their food facilities with FDA and also give advance notice on their shipments of imported products to FDA, which we call prior notice. Also ensure products are in compliance with FDA laws, regulation, and policy and guidance before you import any products. For that, we have all links here. This guidance, regulations about labeling, registration requirements, and other requirements, you can also read more of the information from these links. Next slide, please. What else to consider before you import? Check FDA's import alert to determine if your products or manufacturer or product and manufacturer is subject to detention without physical examination and requirement to secure a release of the shipments. So before you import any product, make sure these products are not on import alerts or the manufacturer or the shipper sometimes. If that's the case, this product will be on hold. Without any examination, FDA put it on hold. You have to bring it to in compliance before it get released. However, as importer, you can check that. It's a public record. If you go to that link, you will find out what products, what manufacturer, in what country. You will see what products are on import alerts. Review also the FDA entry submission and review process. You'll find lots of information here, how the entry, submission, and the review process works. Also consider providing the following information to your custom brokers. Lori mentioned it earlier. It's very important you are working with a broker who knows exactly what are the requirements. Complete and accurate information and documentation will expedite the review process. When you have all the documents in place, the review process gets expedited. So provide to your broker the product name, product description, which you can also find it in invoice, the intended use of the product in United States, the name, the address, the physical location of the manufacturer, shipper, importer, to deliver to the consignee in the United States. And also if you have the FEI number, DUNS number of the importer, manufacturer, provide all this information. But this is not the only information you need to provide to your broker. A full list of required data elements, it can be found in FDA supplemental guide. So please check that link. You'll find every information that you need to submit before you import. This information will allow you to expedite the process of your entry. Please, next slide. Okay, this time now we're gonna get into during the import process, what to consider during the import process. So at the time of import, the importer will have to provide information about their shipment, related firms, and products to FDA. Once the shipment is transmitted to FDA for review, our system will conduct an initial evaluation to determine if the product can proceed into commerce, or information need to be. So the system can review it, it could release it. However, the system also could hold it if somebody's doing something to the page. So the system could also hold it for further review by human being. If more information is needed, the shipment information will be sent electronically to the local FDA office. So we are Division of Northeast Import. If your product, the port of entry is here in Northeast, our office will review the product. The local, somebody's playing with the slides. Okay, the local FDA office may request documents if the system puts a hold for human review. Now FDA will request documents. And then we also request a physical examination. Not always we request a physical examination. Sometimes we only request a documentation. If a physical examination is also requested and performed, FDA will be evaluating the products and the labeling for compliance. FDA may also collect sample of the products for lab analysis and for known hazards, depending on the results of the examination, the sampling, the product will either be proceed into commerce or held for compliance review. So it depends what the field examination analysis tells us. It could be released into the commerce or held for compliance, and the investigational branch will transfer the entry to the compliance branch. So products at this time, if your product is on hold, this is very important. Products pending FDA examination or sample collection must be held, should not be distributed into the commerce until the results are evaluated and the products are released. Failure to hold your products during this time may result in FDA requesting CBP to demand redelivery. So it's very important to hold on to the product until you hear from FDA what's the lab analysis and what's the labeling examination. So the local FDA office also makes the final admissibility decision, either release or refuse. you can follow up the status of this product on iTax. Your broker knows how to get to iTax, and also importer can do that. Next slide, please. What else also to consider during your import process? Stay in contact with your CBP, custom broker or FDA, and provide requested information in timely manner. If FDA requests documents or an inspection, provide the requested information or documents via iTax. The documents could be invoice, shipping documents, ingredient list, copies of labels, photograph, the picture of the product, formulation, processing methods, etc. Sometimes the entry reviewer can send you email. So that's why it's very important you provide your contact information, and your broker also transmit their contact information. That way, if the entry reviewer is asking a specific questions, they can email you, and you can provide the requested document. You may provide any information that would help the reviewer determine your product is in compliance with US laws and regulation. So anything you think that helps, you can also upload that document. Monitor your status of your entry. You can also email us. However, you can follow up the status of your product if you just go to iTax. Also, submit questions about your shipments to the local FDA office at the port of entry. So if your product, the port of entry is not Northeast, you need to contact the division. It's only the division of Northeast that we handle here. Next slide, please. What else to consider? So I've been saying entry review, and let me explain what is entry review. Entry review are human beings sitting in front of a computer and reviewing the products that's held by the system. The system also reviews and release, or the system holds the product. So entry review consists of the examination of any electronic data to make initial admissibility determination based on the entry documentation received. So the entry reviewer will review the document they requested, and then the admissibility decision will be made based on the document they get. So what is the time frame, the entry review time frame? Initial entry decision for perishable or emergency products is within 1 business day from the electronic submission date. So from the time the product was submitted through iTax is 24 hours for perishable products. If it's non-perishable products, it is 2 business days from the time electronic submission date. However, if the entry reviewer requests documents, and from the time the document is submitted through iTax, it's 3 business days, it will be reviewed and admissible decision will be made. However, how about field examination, sample collection? What is the time frame on that? The time frame on that, for entries of a non-perishable products, field work will be conducted within 5 business days of being notified the entry line is available for examination. So importer is responsible to let us know through iTax where the location of the warehouse is, and the product is available for inspection and sample collection. So it is very important to let us know. We can get to it right away. Next page, please. Next slide. Okay, what else to consider? Of course, labeling and allergens. The Food and Drug Act requires most foods to bear nutritional labeling and requires food labels to bear nutrient content claims and certain health message to comply with specific requirements. The law requires that food labels identify the food source of all major food allergens used to make the food. So it's very important. This requirement is met if a common, very important right here, a common or usual name of an ingredient already identified that allergen food source name. For example, buttermilk, or you can say it contains wheat, it contains egg, soy. It is really, sometimes scientific names are not acceptable. It has to be a common name of that ingredient need to be mentioned for allergen purpose. Next slide. What else also to be concerned during importation? It's detention and hearing. When products in your shipments violate or appears to violate FDA laws and regulations, FDA may detain your products and issue a notice of FDA action with designation of detained. This notice is considered the notice of detention and hearing. The notice of detention and hearing provides a respond by date. This date is important to pay attention to that date. For the importer, owner, and consignee, they all will be notified when the product is detained. The notice of detention and hearing will provide the section of the law and regulation that appears to be violated. So you can refer what is the violation. Your product may be detained because it appears to be adulterated, misbranded, manufactured, processed, or packed under insanitary condition. If FDA detains your product, submit evidence to overcome the appearance of violation. If you are not able to overcome the appearance of a violation, your product will be refused admission. You can work with CBP and FDA to destroy the product or export it from the US within 90 days of the refusal. Next page. Okay, now let's talk about the FSVP program. This is also something to consider during your importation. What is the Foreign Supplier Verification Program? For short, we call it FSVP. So FSVP requirements. What is FSVP? FSVP requires that importers perform certain risk-based activities to verify that the human and animal food that import into United States has been produced in manner that meets applicable US safety standards. So providing assurance of the product that you're bringing to the States, providing assurance that foreign suppliers of food products made similar requirements to the US-based manufacturers. Who is FSVP importer? The FSVP importer is US owner or consignee of the food, or the US party who has purchased or agree to purchase the food. They are FSVP importers. Who's subject to FSVP? All importers of food, beverage, and dietary ingredients are subjected to FSVP inspection and program. A separate FSVP must be developed for each food and each foreign supplier. Even if the same food is obtained from different suppliers, the FSVP program is important. So you have to have the program, the FSVP program, before you import the product to United States. If you want to take classes, there are industries who provide these classes, but you have to meet FSVP program before you import food products to the States. Next slide, please. Here is additional information for you. We have all these links for regulation, guidance, labeling, registration, and other in-system information. All these links will take you to the websites where we have very good information in detail how to meet the requirements. Next slide, please. Here is also more information about ACE transmission requirements. What is ACE? ACE is the Automated Commercial Environment. For short, we call it ACE, is the system through which the trade community reports import and exports, and the government determines admissibility decision. If you go to FDA supplemental guide, you will find more information. However, we have just few of the codes over here for program code, FOO, processing code, intended use code, affirmation compliance, and more. Please use these links. If you also have any questions, anytime you can reach to FDA. We're always happy to answer your questions. I think this is the last slide. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening to me. And I wasn't kind of rushing it. Sorry about that.
You're on mute, Naveed. Naveed, you're on mute.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. Sorry. Okay. I was muted. So sorry. Okay, Melka, that was phenomenal. Very deep, very insight, lot of resources, I know. And everyone, we will share these links with this presentation with Mr. Unnikrishan's office, and then it will be shared with all of you. I know there is a lot to digest, but the insights and the information shared is very, very critical. Not only to do business in the most efficient way. You have to make sure that there are not penalties and everything going as smooth as possible. So prepare. So this will be shared with you. I know all of you have many questions to ask, but please bear with me. At the end of this webinar, we will take your questions. So let's go to the next presenter. So next two presentations will be delivered by market experts, everyone. For the first presentation, I'm going to invite Jim Dory. Now, Jim works in the capacity of president and COO of Insera Supermarkets, which owns 23 ShopRite stores, 2 PriceRite marketplaces in New York and New Jersey, and also a micro fulfillment center. With over a decade at Wakefern, Jim brings extensive experience in marketing and merchandising to his role. Jim, with a warm welcome, I invite you to the floor and please share your insights.
Thanks so much, Naveen, and thanks to all the experts. I think it's so helpful for everyone. If you're trying to make a business and just get that expert advice that could shave weeks, months, or even years off of the experience to get you to your success more quickly. So Naveen had asked from a retail perspective. So as Naveen said, we're part of ShopRite Supermarkets. So collectively, we're a cooperative with almost 350 supermarkets, primarily in the Northeast and the areas that we discussed. And constantly looking at new items and new products that come across. And, we want to work with everybody, but you realize just like a warehouse or a store, there's just only so much that you can have. And ultimately, you want to get the right items in front of the customers. So from that retail perspective, I think a lot of the experts talked about a broker or getting that inside knowledge that will help you separate yourself. And, I always try, every time people reach out to me, often it's through LinkedIn, I try and connect with everyone. But a lot of them are kind of, hey, we have the greatest item, or we have this huge portfolio of items, and we have the best quality and the best pricing. And not everybody can have all of that. So we try and steer them in the right direction. But, what I always come back to is if you have the specific knowledge. So if your item is coconut water, what's the size of the market that you're talking about? What is your advantage over, is it organic? Is it the best selling in certain areas? Is it the cost? Something that's going to help it stand out more from the retailer to say, okay, I already have multiple suppliers. Why is it that I can give time to this one? If you're looking at possibly private label or own brand, that's a huge market as well. So you might be looking to say, again, what is my advantage? And am I already doing business in the market where you are? A lot of people, and they have so many resources, especially in India, that it's so vast, and you may really have the best cost on a portfolio of items. But as the retailer or the buyer, the wholesaler, it's hard for them to focus in and say, okay, what are you really going to win at? Bring that focus into 2 or 3 items or a small portfolio that are either proven or the competitive set that's winning and why yours would be an advantage to it. Again, we have in our stores, just as an idea, we probably have 60,000 individual items in the store at any given time. So when a new item does come in, what's going to make that customer grab it for the first time? And when you think of the retail perspective and you can identify with the challenges that they have and the interest that we have, it just makes it so much more helpful. So if you have a marketing plan and if you're using some type of broker who has experience and success in launching items in the market that you're going after, that certainly makes it easier. As a retailer and an operator, we know how to get the items from the warehouse to our stores, to our customers, and to continue. What we don't know how to do is launch a new item for you. And again, so many great people, they have so much pride in what they do, but it's that focus of knowing what you're going after, and how you would bring it to market. What if you really can get a deep knowledge of your competition, that always helps. And obviously visiting the markets that you're in. As Naveen said earlier, I mean, Edison, New Jersey, Island, New Jersey, Jersey City, New Jersey, just such a huge population. But often the items that you're going to bring in are not just for the Indian customer, they're for a much broader portfolio. So what are you up against? What's actually on the shelf? So when you're visiting the market, and if you can get into a retailer store, we love showing off our stores, just like you love to show off your facilities. So looking at that section where you would merchandise your store, understanding how you would get it first into the country, as some of these great experts shared with you today, but then to a distributor that can ultimately get it on the shelves and then get it into the customer's basket and their home, so that we can all enjoy helping them to either save money or get a quality product that wasn't available, and then to also be able to take care of their families better because you're giving them a better alternative. So again, we're operators, in our stores, we're about $1.5 billion US, for our company. And then we're part of a bigger group that's about $20 billion. We move a lot of product. Also thinking about how does it ship ultimately, to the warehouse or distribution center, and then how does it come into the store? The convenience of what does the packaging look like? What does the outer case look like? So the more you can think about solving for the ultimate customer, it just gives you so much more chance at success. And I'm also a big proponent too about reaching out to the others who have done it before you. So many entrepreneurs like yourselves, or so many importers, they're willing to share their experience to help somebody else, especially in the pride of a country where so many people take pride in where they come from, and helping somebody else to do the same. I think you can never go wrong with expanding your network, and just reaching out. But when it's to reach out for a sales call to say, again, I have the best coconut water or the best basmati rice, there's a lot of suppliers. So you really want to understand what you're up against and what really does separate yours. So I hope this perspective is helpful. If any of you are in the New Jersey, New York area and you visit a ShopRite supermarket, happy to answer questions. But thanks so much, Naveen. I think this is a great initiative, and certainly just this short bit of information has got to be helpful. Thank you.
That was very crisp and very insightful, Jim. And I tell everyone, ShopRite is a very large retail chain, very big retail chain. And well, I'm able to find some of the Indian products there too. So, and I know very soon a very good Indian brand is getting launched at ShopRite. And I'm excited for that, Jim. Guys, so, well, the video of Jim's talk and all the experts will be shared with you. You can listen to it again and immerse yourself into what Jim has suggested, because that's the way to go into the market. And it is very rare, I tell you, it is not that easy to bring an expert like Jim on the call, because they're running as they said, the $20 billion empire that is being run. So you can imagine the amount of business that happens. So this learning that's shared with you, just listen to it once again. When I shared the video recordings, I'm very sure this will help you strategize your US business expansion plans. Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. Okay, now, so wonderful, Jim. I liked it. I liked it. Okay, Jim. Thank you. Thank you, my man. All right. So, well, next we will bring up Rajesh Asrani, one of another expert on call. So Rajesh holds the position of Vice President Sales at Best Foods, which is one of the largest South Asian ethnic food importer and distributor. With 25 years of experience in FMCG and commodities, Rajesh has led operations for the industry-leading firms in retail, distribution, and food service. Rajesh, a very warm welcome to you. I invite you to take the mic and address the audience.
Thank you, Mr. Naveen. Thank you so much for the introduction. Good morning to everyone in US and good evening everyone to you in India. And I had a big list, but most of the points were covered by a very in a proper manner. And the most important was done by Nicole and Lori. Those are the way they had mentioned that this New Jersey, New York port is one of the busiest port and one of the largest. But yes, it's not only busy and largest, but it's one of the most friendly port, which helps us to bring our product in a proper manner. Yes, all the rules and regulations are being followed by most of the companies. But yes, even compared to other ports, New Jersey, New York port is one of the most friendly port that I would just mention. That it's very easy to bring in product through this port. It's very helpful. And I would like to mention about the products, which are products at present the consumers are looking for, like organic products, plant-based products, roasted products, as consumers are try to avoid fried products, healthy food products, Ayurveda and natural products, oat milk products, millets and superfood like quinoa and other chia seed, ghee, jackfruit. So there are many genuine suppliers from India, those who want to enter US market, but there are many challenges. But yes, as Malka has mentioned about the FDA, we have to follow the FDA rules and regulations. But I would suggest that I would recommend that if we have a lab test in India, which can be a third party, which can be authorized by the US authorities, so it will be helpful for the suppliers to follow the guidelines what US is looking for. It will be save over time. It will save their time and money. So this can be a very helpful if we appoint some lab in India, and they will be following all the rules and regulations which are being followed in US. So I think that can be a very helpful if it can be authorized. So I would just say thank you so much, Naveenji, and it was great session.
Thank you, Rajeshji. Thank you very much. I know that there are going to be many questions coming across, so all your practical learnings will be imparted through the answers to those questions. So everyone, that concludes our final presentation, and we are now prepared to address the questions. Nicole will be leading this Q&A session. So Nicole, as you move along the questions, you can pick and choose the way that you like to, and we'll go over this Q&A session now.
Well, I can tell you and thankful for Teresa and Ryan. They have been answering as we have gone. So they were able to answer some of the questions specific to FDA. I don't say anything new as of now. I think there's some hands raised if you want to let them unmute and ask directly. That's up to you. I see a couple right up here on our panel discussion have questions up. So if you want to unmute them, I can unmute them.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So if anyone has specific questions they want to ask, yeah, there it is. Vivo, the name is not there. Maybe you want to unmute yourself. Vivo V2059. I can't see how to unmute you. So if you unmute yourself, okay, that's okay. We can go to the next one. Chetty Exports. So.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful session. I'm sorry, I'm joined a little late. And basically, we are a merchant exporter and importer from India. We both import and export, depends upon the client requirement. We import from African countries and we export to Bulgaria, UK, and Singapore. And we have our own brand also, but right now, there are a lot of things going on. And the major question to FDA is like, since we are a merchant exporter and importer, we don't manufacture. We have, for example, there are a lot of certifications we just take an authorization from the manufacturer and submit to the client. So like FDA also, we can do the same, or do we need to separately apply for FDA and get it acknowledged something?
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I see the next one is, I'm just going to lower your hand. That will help us kind of navigate through this. The next one I see is Strengthen TS. I'm going to unmute you or ask you to unmute if you'd like to ask a question. It's TREEN. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Welcome.
Very good morning.
Good morning.
This is Srinath here. I represent a company called Radiance Global Traders Private Limited. We are a merchant exporters. We are currently exporting to 5 countries, and soon we are about to start our business with a US customer. So my question is that we are planning to export millet-based noodles and pastas. So we wanted to know what are all the quality certifications or tests to be done in our product so that this product compiles the FDA norms and it gets released without any hindrances.
Melka, I know you're still on here, and I know there's, after we share all these slide decks, there's going to be a lot of links that will help you navigate through the needs of moving the cargo in and out of this port. But Melka, if you want to add anything, I'm not sure.
It was breaking out. I didn't hear the last question.
The regulations on brands.
Can I repeat my question again?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, please.
Sir, we are planning to export millet-based products to US. So I wanted to know what are all the tests or compliances we need to ensure in our product so that this consignment gets released without any issues in USA when it reaches the port of destination.
Oh, okay. So if you see the PowerPoint presentation, we have lots of links that will explain. But the firm, the manufacturer who's producing that product need to be registered. They got to have a current FFR. And also, if you are the importer, you need to develop the FSVP program. That program is verifying and approving that firm who produced their product in the standard of food safety, United States. It's very detailed, but follow the links. It's a lot of information in there.
Oh, okay, so I got it. So you mentioned that the manufacturer has to be registered with the FFR. What does that mean, sir?
FFR is the facility registration number. So the manufacturer under the Bioterrorism Act, I think 2001, it requires any food manufacturers oversee before the products is imported to United States, the firm back home, they need to be registered.
Okay, so in my case, I'm a merchant exporter. So in my case, the manufacturer has to be mandatorily registered with the FFR, or I have a FDA registration number as well. US FDA, I'm a registered company. So is that enough?
So it's case by case. If you are storing these products here in United States, if you have a storage warehouse to hold these products, it's also a different case by the domestic FDA. You have to have a different registration. But now we're talking about if you're bringing these products, you don't store them, but they distribute it straight to the consumer or wherever they go, that the manufacturer back home, the one needs a registration.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the question. I'm going to move on. I see on top, I have Ravella, Ravella. If you want to unmute yourself and ask your question. I can come back to you.
No, unmute.
Oh, there you are. There you go.
Yeah. Good morning to US experts, and good evening to Indian, exporters. I am a new person to this field of export. In fact, I am a farmer. I'm a farmer having a own plantation of more than 45 acres of land with the cashew nuts. So after listening to this presentation, I have a thought that why not I can start directly the export business to US, because I'm following all the natural farming and organic farming procedures. So I'm an agricultural expert in masters in agriculture. So after retirement, I started my own plantation. If you share the slides or presentations, I will get an information what is the actual procedure one after another. Okay, that will be really helpful to me. But at this stage, I may not ask questions. After going through all the material what I receive through email, I may be contacting you.
Sure, sir. We will send you that, sir. We will send you.
Yeah.
I request everyone to please ask your questions so that we can address as many as possible.
Thank
Okay. Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Share the presentation.
Okay, I'm going to move on. So I have, I'm sorry if I misspelled the name. I'm sorry. Yes, you unmuted. You can go.
Hello, Nicole. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
And good morning. This is Suma Shekhar here from US, Michigan, Farmington Hills. Recently, we have relocated from India, and I was also a BNI member back in India. So I have a greater connect back in India, good team who can send me anything and everything. But I don't know how to start here, Nicole. I really need your support. Also, Naveen, I would like to get connected with you to know how can I help the best back in India to bring the product line. We have beautiful tea lines which are organic. We have herbs, pulses, dals, spices, and many more products, including the art and all those things. So I would like to get connected to one of you guys. Nicole, I have sent you a mail.
I think once you receive the slide deck, this will help you a lot with the links that FDA put together.
Okay.
So I suggest once Naveed sends it out, which will be today, later in today, look through it, and any questions, you have my email and I'll get you to the right person in FDA.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So you tell me that, if SVP program has to be taken by me, right? Like if I want to import something from any other countries to US.
I'm assuming, yes, Malco, that's true, right? And all those links
Yes.
will explain how to,
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
the importers
So-
are responsible to develop this program.
Yes.
Okay. Do I have to get any kind of licenses, Mel?
For FSVP program?
Yeah.
No, it's not licensing. The best thing to do, there are firms who educate FSVP programs, and they do have templates, examples. They do teach well. And also there are consultants that you can use. They can develop the program for you the first time, or you can hire them and use them for, we don't really enforce people to use them, but it's just advice.
Okay. Okay. Well,
I think
thank
the slide deck will really be able to help you. And like I said, you have my email. Any questions, just come to me directly and I'll put you in
you.
the right
Already
person.
made you, Nicole. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank
guys have a
you.
good-
So I know we have about, 8 minutes. So I know there's a bunch of people that have their hands up and we really appreciate this feedback. That's why we do these kind of webinars. But specific questions, that's what we want to ask, because we're taking FDA's some of their time and CVP and everything else. So if you want to learn how to get a license, it will be in the slide deck that we will send over after the webinar. And in additional information that you would need, you can get to Naveed or myself and we'll point you in the right direction. I'll move along. Amrit, I'm sorry if I misspell it. A-M-R-I-T. You can unmute yourself and ask a question, please.
Hi, Nidra. I'm Amrit. Thank you for giving the informations.
Sure.
We are basically into ready-to-eat and ready-to-cook food products, and we manufacture non-veg, veg, and sweets. So we wanted to export our products into US, but we were finding some difficulty in exporting non-veg products. So how can you help us out regarding this?
Malcolm, I'm going to turn it to you.
Can you explain when you say, did you say non-veg? I heard
Yes,
ready-to-eat
non-veg,
products.
like meat products.
Oh,
Cooked
FDA
meat
don't
products.
regulate meat.
Okay. So, which department do we have to take talks with?
USDA. USDA.
USDA. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Sincos, I'm going to go right in order. So SINCOS, you can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Sorry. My main question, I'm to the point. The question is that we are exporter from last 7 years, and we are first star exporter, more than 100 crore turnover per year. But we are not expanding our portfolio in a food product. So I want to know how we get which food is not prohibited in USA, which food is allowed to the export, because we are experienced polycarbonate textile business. Our portfolio is like that, not food. So our next target to the expand in food. I have last 2 months in USA, and I have many buyer we connect, but we don't know the how which food is not allowable. So we cannot add this in our portfolio. That's my single question.
Okay, so Manvi, do one thing. Please share the link to add entry open and ask people who have these specific questions. They can ask them through the link, and then we can have Rajesh and Jim later look at those questions and address. Okay, let's go to the next one, Nicole.
Okay, sure. FJ.
Yeah, hi, Nicole. My name is
Good morning.
Franklin. I'm from Hyderabad, India. So, I represent Living Strong Agro Foods Private Limited. So we deal with, healthy mixes, trial mix and so on and so forth, right? So we have our own brand called Living Strong. Okay. So we're planning to do export to US for the first time. So we are targeting the departmental stores. So question number one, what is the best approach to cater to the department stores? Number one. Number two, if you were to have our product line using our brand name, which is Living Strong, what are the regulations that I should be aware of? So these are the two quick questions that I have, Nicole.
As far as soliciting yourself or getting more information on local customers that are moving that specific commodity or grow that, we don't really supply lists of people that are coming out of this port. It's just proprietary information. But we could certainly, if you Google, you could see who's moving product in and out of this gateway or what their commodity is. Again, as far as the regulations, I think this PowerPoint presentation from FDA will answer a lot, probably most of all your questions. And then what I'll do is I'll make sure Naveed sends my email out. So if there's any other extra questions as far as FDA or CBP or just moving cargo through this gateway, you guys can get me directly and I get you the right person.
And maybe Jim, you want to take a shot at it too?
Yeah, so is the question, maybe just rephrase it for me, Naveen, was it department stores?
Yes, it was.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I guess, Franklin, I think part of the question sounded like, is your name trademarked here? Could you use the brand that you have in the US, which you probably need some experts on that. That's where that broker world comes into. But I think if you looked at the specific market you're coming into, if it's New York, New Jersey, do you know what that competitive set looks like already? And then pricing or quality or variety, are you going directly after something that exists? Or do you think that you're creating the market? And then that kind of, to us, you have an understanding of what the retailers are making on margin. So then you can usually back into all the costs involved in your product and to see if you're competitive. If you're looking at prices on the shelves that are much higher than you think after delivery and everything else you could support, then you're probably in a good path. Again, if you're launching a totally new category, that's tougher. And then lastly, your definition of department stores may be different than what mine is. I don't think that I thought it was like you said, trail mixes. Is that correct?
Yeah, dry fruit mix and health mixes and so on and so forth.
Okay, so I wouldn't think of the department stores here. I wouldn't think of that. That'd be more supermarkets, obviously the Targets and Walmarts, the general merchandisers of the world, probably more likely. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, thank you, Jim.
Wonderful.
Okay, we have another one. Ian, overseas, if you want to unmute, you can ask your question.
Hello everybody. Thank you for inviting me. So my question is with regard to milk products. For example, we have the license for exporting ghee, milk ghee from India to US.
So your voice is not clear.
Yeah, we don't have a great
Is
connection.
it allowed, or what are the documents
It's
needed
just,
for importing milk? Is it possible? Is it possible to import milk products from India to US, because we have the license for exporting milk products? Ghee.
Okay. Rajesh, sir? Rajesh? Okay.
well, they're
Jim?
asking if milk can be imported, right? Melka, again, I'm going to turn to you as the pro.
Hello.
Yeah, Rajesh, if you'd
Yes,
like
this is
to.
this is Rajesh. Yes, yes, we need a milk permit to import milk products.
Yeah, I want to import milk products.
Yes, yes. We have to. You will require to have a milk permit.
Yes, we have it.
To import milk products. Yes, so you can do that. You have to. First of all, your facility should be FDA registered. Do you have FDA registration number?
Yeah. We have a FDA registration number, and we are merchant exporter of milk, ghee, and our ghee manufacturing unit is approved by Export Inspection Authority of India. So, so we are taking ghee from there. So we currently be sending to Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. And so my question is it possible to US also?
Ryan,
Yes,
I mean,
definitely. Yes.
if in the chat, we had some of our FDA people that are assisting. They put some links in there on programs on moving milk. If you look in there from Ryan, you'll see a couple links in there that will assist you moving in that product.
Yes.
Yeah, just for their information, FDA, you need to also double check with USDA. FDA don't regulate milk.
Okay.
On that link, there seems to be a program, Melka, that maybe Ryan is able to assist with. So if you look in under the chat, you'll see there's a program, Interstate Milk Shippers List. So if you want to look in there,
It's
that may
a
help you a little
byproduct
bit.
of milk.
Yeah, I would look through that, and then if you need anything else, you can get in touch with Naveed or myself, and we'll try to put you in the right people.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right, Naveed, we're coming up on 10. I know there's a lot of people that have their hands still raised, and we can ask a couple more, but if not, maybe they can contact me directly, yourself, and we can answer the questions once they get the link, and maybe that would help them a lot more on the FDA side.
So let's take 2 more questions, and after that, I'll just we just wrap it up after a small bit of thanks. Sure.
So the next one I see is GOPINATH. If you can unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. I can. Actually, I have a doubt regarding I have a biodegradable plates which is used for eating, and is that allowed to sell in US market? Like it is made from leaves.
Made from leaves, and what is the product again?
The plates that we are using for the paper plates. Same like it is made from leaves. So it is from forest. Yes, yeah. Not recyclable, but recyclable. Yes, it is about biodegradable. Means it is completely like it is made from leaves, and it is made up of only from organic only. It is not any. It is not human made. It is just leaves are from taking the leaves and dry, and we will make the plates. Yeah, it is India. It is very much used. But
okay, so it's a palm leaf. Okay, Melka, any regulations on? Hold on, I'm looking.
We do the foodwares. The most important thing here, you need to read, and also you need to verify that the food makes contact to this plate. We don't regulate the part where it's a recycling. It's the concern with FDA is the food is touching the plate. So you should be able to read this information on FDA website. We do have a section foodwares, and follow that regulation. And yeah, I can't say much about the biodegradable. That's not our jurisdiction.
Okay, so sir, where I get the license from? It is the FDA is mandatory for that, or it is some other license is required for that?
The link that we sent with this PowerPoint has the registration and regulation information. Please follow that.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll share the presentation with the links.
Okay, I have one last one. Galaxy A22 5G. There you go.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
Madam, how to share my training path, that means product catalog to you. What is the procedure? That means what is your email ID for sending our product catalog to you, madam?
I'm sorry, did not understand that. I apologize. I need to mute some people here. Okay, can you repeat that again?
Hello?
Yes, can you repeat that?
How to share our product catalogs to your email IDs? What is the procedure for share our product catalogs to you?
Okay. Well, yes, you can email that to us. We'll share the email ID, and then you can share that with us.
I did put my email in the chat, but Naveed, when you send this out on the PowerPoint, when I send you the revised, can you just put my contact information and I could help?
We will. Okay.
And really, it's very thank you so much to Ryan and Teresa to answering a lot of these questions.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
You're welcome. That was able to help us navigate through these Q&As. But I'm gonna hand it back to you, Naveed.
All right, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a very useful information.
Sure, sir.
Great,
Welcome.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So on behalf of Entry USA and Port Authority and Federation of Indian Export Organization, I want to thank you, each one of you, for joining us in this webinar. And I want to, I'm deeply grateful to the speakers that we had today, including Mr. Manish Kulhadi, Mr. Ajay Sai, Lori Kuo, Melka Argo, Teresa Smedley, Ryan Aguilon, Jim Dory, and Rajesh Asrani. Thank you so much, sir, for very insightful, invaluable information that you shared. I know this can be very useful. With the paucity of time that we have, we cannot address all the questions. There are hundreds of those I can see already. And, we will do another set of webinar, maybe next couple of months, and we'll try to take upon more questions and structure the webinar so that we can have more questions answered. I want to offer my special thanks to Mr. Unni Krishnan. I don't see Mr. Unni Krishnan right there. You are, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I want to, make sure that, you are addressed there, sir. It was only because of you that we could create such a wonderful webinar today. You gave us a full support from India. And our sincere appreciation to you. Post this email, I will introduce you to Nicole also and rest of the team. And then we'll work upon maybe more very similar webinars as we move along, other than food categories also. And I know, Ms. Reba Abraham from APEDA and Devika Nair from FAME TN. Thank you, both of you. If you're a part of this webinar, you both of us helped us out in a big way. And I will also make an introduction with Nicole as we move along. So, from the knowledge that you all gained here today, I really would like to see you, the Indian food companies, propel your business in the US. Thank you for your engagement. In case you are ready to take the action, then I'll say visit the site entryopen.com. Manvi, please share the link in the chat. Entryopen.com. What you are looking for in the US market from the business standpoint. All these videos, all these presentations, I will share that is separately, but from the business standpoint, what you're looking at, we will evaluate it. And at the right moment, right time, when you are ready, then we will bring in Mr. Rajesh Asrani and experts like Rajesh, market experts, and also experts like Jim Dory on the call and see what opportunities it can unfold for you. For questions regarding FDA and US Customs, of course, I will share the link to the presentation made. Look at all those resources, and with the specific questions, when you have those questions, please address those questions in the email, and then we'll get to answer those. We'll look at those and get back at you as soon as that we can. With that said, I want to thank you, Nicole. Thank you so much. I know we started a few years back. We have done 4 webinars already. We'll do more, but this region, everyone, I love New Jersey area, and I love this region because this is where the business happens. Jim, you will agree, and I know Rajesh sir, you will agree, and Melka, you know that already. So with that said, Mr. Unikrishnan, thank you from India. Thank you so much, and would be seeing you next month in India. I'm traveling there, and I'll work with Nicole to maybe next time we also bring in Nicole US FDA, USDA, Department of Agriculture also, right? So if any last word, Nicole, Jim, Melka, Rajesh Sani, and Unikrishnan sir, you want to give, please, you are more than welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for the kindness. Great session. Good luck to everyone.
Thank you. Nicole,
thank you very much. Very informative.
Thank you. Mr. Unikrishnan, you want to say something?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Naveen, and it is very interesting and very informative. I think people have to go through these slides, and you already promised that you'll be sharing it. So we'll share to everybody. So let's work together to promote that trade. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Melka, you want to say?
Yeah, thank you for having us here. It was very informative. And one thing from FDA, we always here to answer your question. Please ask anytime. All the centers will answer your question. The one thing I want to leave here today is communication. The more you communicate with us, the faster your product will go out, but don't delay communication. That's all.
Wonderful. That was the gem on top of everything. Melka, you will be like, it will come to you like a tsunami, I tell you. But wonderful. I tell you. Okay, Rajesh sir.
Thank you, Mr. Naveen. Thank you so much for a great session. Yes, it will be a very helpful for at least for those who are very new to this export business. And yes, great thanks to you.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Unikrishnan sir, we have the communication channel open as Melka said the right way. The best way is to have that communication open. Ask questions, more questions asked, more of your queries resolved, and then it becomes more clearer to enter the US market. With that said, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and we look forward to the next one. Take care. A very good evening.
Have a great day. Good evening.
Bye-bye.